Okay, I do a thing on our number line in the classroom that I'm not going to be able to do here, but I'm going to try to show you what I mean. So -4 is less than +6 because it's way to the left of +6. But if you add 2 to -4, then it moves here. If you add 2 to +6, it moves here. So -4, this is -4 plus 2, aka -2. And this is negative, this is not negative anything. This is 6 plus 2, also known as 8. But you see their relative position hasn't changed. -4 plus 2 is still less than -6 plus 2. The thing that I would show you in class that's not easy to show you here is that if I have -4 and I'm comparing it to +6, if I add 2 to each of them, they both just shift 2 higher, 2 forward on the number line, but this number is still less than this number. The same thing when happens when you subtract 2 from both. You start at -4 and then you go 2 to the left and you're at 6 and you go 2 to the left. Well, this is still less than this. They just shifted together. They shifted the same amount to the left, but the comparison would be the same. This would still be less than this. If you have, let's start fresh here. If you have -4 and you multiply by 2, -4 multiplied by 2 is -8. And up here, 6 multiplied by 2 is 12. So it ends up here. So they're moving in opposite directions. They're being doubled, but if you double a negative, it's just further negative. It's more of a debt, if you want to think of it as a debt. If you double a positive, it just goes further in the positive direction. And so if -4, I better be careful about doing this with my hands because I'm not sure from your direction which one would be negative. Yeah, I guess it would be this one. If -4 is less than +6, when you double it, it's still less than the positive when you double it. So this is still less than. Now if we divide by, we start with -4 and we divide by 2, it becomes -2. So now it's moving here. It's getting closer to the other one. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Goes here, but this is still less than this. So up till now it seems like, well, you know, what are we bothering with this for? It's always, the relative position doesn't change. But wait, it will. If you add -2, if you have -4 and you have +6 and you add -2, well, adding -2 is the same as subtracting 2, so really it's the same as what we did here. This will go here, this will go here, but it'll still be less than. If you subtract -2, that's like, okay, subtracting is the same as adding the opposite. So subtracting -2 is adding 2. And we already looked at that right here, so it would still be less than. But if you start with -4 and +6, if you multiply -4 by -2, it becomes +8. It goes from there to here. And if you multiply 6 by -2, it becomes -12. It ends up way over here. So they cross over each other. And so this is -6. This is 6 multiplied by -2. And this is -4 multiplied by -2. So the sign changes when you multiply by this negative. Here's a -4, and here's the +6. When you multiply by -2, it's like multiplying by the opposite of 2. The sign changes if you take the opposite, and so they switch over. And this positive 8 becomes greater than negative 12. If we go back to the original situation, with negative 4 is less than positive 6. Now if you divide by negative 2, negative 4 divided by negative 2 is positive 2, so it ends up here. 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3, so it ends up right here. And again, they cross over. This is 6 divided by negative 2 because it's negative 3. This is negative 4 divided by negative 2, positive 2. And so now, again, this becomes greater. If you multiply or divide by a negative, the inequality flips. Less than becomes greater than. And it makes sense because if you multiply by a negative, you're taking the opposite. Let's just take something even simpler. 5 is greater than 3. But if you do 5 times negative 2, is that greater than 3 times negative 2? 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Oh, negative 10 is less than negative 6. If you scale both numbers, but also scale them by a negative, the opposite, then they get larger by the same factor, but they also flip their relative position as far as which one's less than and which one's greater than. I feel like that's a lot better understood the way I do it in class, but we'll see. We'll do our best. All right, let's grade this learning opportunity.